Hey guys, Jordan here, and I'm here with my student Tom Russo, and he's only been in the program, working on the system in the program for the past few months, but has been getting awesome results. He started out really struggling to generate leads and clients, and just the past about 3 months has been generating probably about 50 leads every single month, closing about an average of 2 to 3 clients, wedding clients every month at $3,500 each. Just closed a destination wedding in Texas, and you live in New Jersey, correct?
Correct.
And yeah, and he was just telling me about another destination that a wedding that he just booked. Tell me a little what just happened.
After our interview, our session on Sunday, I got an email from a girl who lives in Minnesota.
Yeah,
My brother's girlfriend lives there, and she's the maid of honor in the wedding. And she had brought up the fact that I was a wedding photographer. So she reached out, and I said, okay, great. Can you talk today? She was like, yes. So I jumped on a Skype call with her, and I walked her through a wedding day with us. And I told her everything, and I showed her the slideshow, and I let my work sell her to me. And we went over all the packages, and within about 12 hours, I booked the wedding. Um, it was
that's
pretty, it was pretty
awesome.
awesome. Just like being able to see that result is just like it's a wake up call. It's kind of incredible to see that, all it takes is a little hard work and a little, thought and process, and just using the script to, sell the work. I mean, it's not even a sale. It's almost like a, hey, this is what I can offer you. If you like it, great, we'll book it. If not, no hard feelings, and you move on.
Exactly, exactly. That's awesome. So basically, just within the past 90 days, struggling to generate leads and clients, now averaging 2 to 3 clients a month, just booked a wedding in Texas and Minnesota. That's freaking awesome. Yeah,
And
so, yeah, what was
and
that?
I also booked one in Florida for next year.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, there we go.
So I thought I
Dude,
told you about that, but no,
no,
I
you
booked one in
didn't.
Florida too.
There we
I'm
go.
flying into Pensacola, and it's about 30 minutes over the Alabama border, and I'm flying there.
That's
And
awesome.
so,
I had a
yeah,
wedding in Pensacola, I think 2 years ago. Beautiful, beautiful little city and stuff. That's exciting, dude.
right.
Yeah. So for the students who are watching this right now, I'm just gonna get a chance to talk to Tom, ask him some questions about his process in the Wedding Lead Machine Accelerator, so you guys can really learn from his results and everything. Yeah. So first question, Tom. So tell us a little bit about first, what was your business like before joining the Wedding Lead Machine Accelerator? What were you trying to do to grow?
So it was very slow. I was that typical, wedding photographer posting the pretty pictures and just putting the captions and hoping that someone would bite on it. Word of mouth was pretty big, but it wasn't to the where I wanted it to be. And so it was very much of a, I hope I get booked, or I'm hoping that, I can, make it one day. And then eventually, you know, it started picking up, but not really. I mean, your class helped a lot.
Yeah.
It kind of gave me the insight of what I need to do to be successful. Like I said, it was very very slow, and it was that hoping game that every wedding photographer that does every day is like, I hope I get booked.
I
And
see.
um,
And I guess what were those biggest obstacles? What were those biggest struggles that you really felt were the wall you know, to growing your business?
Marketing for sure,
Hmm.
and knowing how to market and how to get the clients to like my work and let my work sell itself to them, and also getting the followers, gaining those brides and those grooms to follow the account. I'm all self-taught, so all of these things that I do is a learning experience, and taking those tactics and applying them to the business essentially. And I had no followers that were potential clients.
Hmm.
Nothing was correct. I was kind of doing it on what I thought was right, and then I really had no formal coaching. I really didn't know where to turn to, and so I was kind of doing it on my own,
Hmm.
and it was a trial and error thing,
Yeah.
pretty much.
And I can relate with you as well. Like I remember, when I was first starting out, 5, 7 years ago, I was doing what everyone was telling me to do. Grow your Instagram. Um, do word of mouth, like go to all these wedding fairs and stuff. And it really just felt like, and that's what I did, and almost sometimes I felt good because I get all these likes and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but it was never consistent. You never knew when a lead would become a client. You never knew when you would get actual warm lead, and it was like this huge guessing game, and that's kind of what you're going through as well, correct?
Pretty much, yeah. And I mean, I did the thing of joining the knot, joining Wedding Wire, and they told me, hey, we're gonna get you clients. And I had two phone interviews with one person from one company, one from the other,
Mm.
and they were like, yeah, what do you expect of this? I said, I just want to start booking weddings more often. And then I was like, what are the odds that I'm gonna get booked? I've generated leads from there, but they were never like after the initial, hey, we like your work, can we get some information, and then I'd send them the information, and that was my biggest mistake. My
Hmm.
biggest mistake was sending them the numbers and not discussing the packages with them or the collections or showing them the work before sending them the information. And I
Yes.
noticed that right I had tried that and it just wasn't working, but I never knew how to not do that, if that makes sense.
Exactly.
Like I never knew how to like pull them in and nurture them and lead them
Ah.
into what I want them to do. And the Wedding Wire and the Knot, they're great companies, but they sell you on, oh, we can do this all things for you. But in reality, there's so many photographers and so many videographers on there that like it's a 1 in 1,000 chance that you'll get booked just based on that. And
Exactly. Very
so
true. Yeah, you can't build a brand on there.
right,
Sure, there's people who may send you, hey, well, how much do you cost? But it's
right,
something where you can't build a brand. You can't build that trust in your brand, to be able to later close them as a client. And we were talking a little bit about sales. I kind of want to jump into this because you've been killing it when it comes to these consultations and using the script and stuff. So I remember talking with you a while back, even before you
hmm,
started building your campaign. You booked $7,000 in sales, those two weddings at 3,500 in
yep,
1 month, even before putting your campaign together.
yep,
And not to mention that recently booking the weddings in Texas and the one you just in Florida and Minnesota. And many are scared to, even after going through that module, they're scared to jump
right,
into in-person sales, or they give up with the script after just one try and getting rejected once. At
yep.
this point, after using the sales script in the course, what are some tips you have for the students to get better at the in-person sales? Maybe it's mindset-wise or strategy-wise.
Just be confident in what you are selling them,
Hmm.
and don't even make it like a sale.
Hmm.
Be a person, be a realistic, person, and be yourself. People who are booking their weddings, some people, some brides really have no clue what the process is. And I always tell my clients, I can help you. This is what I do for a living.
Hmm.
Just, trust me and I will, do it for you. But trust the script, practice the script,
Yes.
and you don't even have to sound scripted. The first one I did, I realized after the call was done, I sounded too scripted. So I practiced on my own and I really honed down on what sounds natural. And I've used it ever since. I probably have done about 20 Skype calls since I took the class, and I've used the
Wow.
script every single time. Whether it was for an e-shoot, an engagement shoot, or if it was for a wedding, I use the script and it works. It
That
works
is
because
awesome.
it's how you communicate to the client. If you just go, hey, this is what I can offer you, here's my prices, whatever you want to do. If you leave the ball in their court, they probably won't bounce it back to you. If you keep the ball in your court and you say, hey, does this work for you? Or, hey, this is what I'm going to show you. Don't even say, do you like it? Just keep quiet. Let them, say, hey, we like this. Or do you have any questions? Or what are some of your concerns? Ask them that before you jump into the slideshow or before you jump into anything that you are going to show them, and then answer those questions along the way because it eases their mind. I
Hmm.
had a client, um, on an engagement shoot, and they were, I was booking them for their wedding and their engagement shoot, and I had said, okay, what are some of your concerns? And they had told me that, they wanted the photographer to always be around. They didn't see the photographer half the night. They wanted to make sure all their family photos were done. And I said, okay, that's great.
Hmm.
What are some things you do like? And they were like, well, we like, taking a lot of photos and mostly candid and stuff like that. And I said, okay, great. I'm going to show you what I do and what we do as a team. And if you have any questions along the way, stop me and I will answer them for you. And at the end of the slideshow, I said, okay, you guys, do you have any questions? They were like, nope, you answered them all. So, and that's something that I never really did before.
Yeah.
Before, taking the course and you saying, hey, don't sell them your work. Let your work sell
Exactly.
itself. And that was something that I never would ever think to do. I'm like, okay, here's my price. When you go into a store, you look at a price tag and it's like, hey, this shirt is $25, but in wedding photography, it's a total different ballgame. These are, you're being hired by these couples and they're entrusting you that you're going to pull through and you're going to succeed and you're going to show them that, you can do what they want. These are memories that last a lifetime. Most couples only get married once in life and they want the photos to be there, 25, 30 years later when they're in their 50s and 60s and they have kids and grandkids and say, oh, look at what mommy and daddy's wedding was, 25 years ago. It's nice to see that, what I've learned pays off in the long run.
That's awesome.
The results are there. It's right in front of you. You just have to trust the process. You have to trust what the script is and what the tactics are. Trust it. And if you do it, you put the hard work in it, it pays off. Look, it paid off for me. So, I mean, it's fantastic.
Exactly. And one thing that I really noticed, and what we're really doing, and for the students watching, like how the script is put together, what we're really doing is asking questions so they actually understand what they want.
Right.
And funneling, it's almost a funnel process in the script where they can understand what they want, then they connect those to your work, and you ask them questions where they are selling themselves. Right. And you're talking about a thing about like the confidence and everything as well. That mindset is such a huge thing, guys, when you're in these sales. You need to remember that you're the prize, and conviction almost sells itself. Conviction
Right.
in the quality of your work almost sells itself, And I think that's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. And so now,
and another thing,
continue.
And another thing that I noticed was I was never a person to be that confident guy, to be like, you know what, my work is good enough. And by just doing this and seeing the results, I'm a visual person, photographer. Seeing the results just gains your confidence. The first time I ran the campaign and I ran the contest, I was like, holy nuts, this actually works. And I just kept going and I kept doing it. I kept building it. And I would meet with the clients on the Skype call and they would be so excited to just work with me. I was blown away. I was like, holy moly, this actually does work. And it's so rewarding and so satisfying to know that hard work pays off.
That's awesome. And one thing I wanted to ask you, sometimes when you work with couples, obviously we don't book 100% of them, you know. And how did you handle rejection? How did you handle those times when it didn't work out and that client didn't decide to work with you?
I moved on.
Good.
I moved on. You were not going to book every client. I had a referral from a DJ friend of mine. He had gone to a bridal expo and he had got a client who was looking for an all-in-one package. And he said, okay, this is my photographer. We come up with things together. And he sent her my way. And I after like a week, I was able to get her on a Skype call. And I could tell off the bat she wasn't too interested. And I was like, okay, you know what? Let me go through all the steps. Let me show her what I can offer. And if she wants to book it, she'll book it. If she doesn't, no hard feelings. And you move on. And, and I did the sales script. I showed her the slideshow. I talked to her about things. And her fiance walked away. I watched him turn around and walk away. And then right then and there, I said, you know what? This is not going to book. I said, I hope to hear from you guys soon. And I never heard from them again. And you know what? No hard feelings. You move on.
There are exactly.
Hundreds and hundreds of brides getting married out there. If you have the following, you have the clientele, you go for it. She had told my DJ friend that she was also looking at another photographer. So it was between me and another person. You know what? You don't like my work? That's your own prerogative. I edit the way I do. I shoot the way I do. You don't like it? That's not my problem.
Exactly.
That's okay.
Want to hear a little trick when you get those people who don't seem very interested. And so often when you get into a consultation with someone, try to gauge from 1 to 10 where their interests are.
Right.
If it really seems like they're below a 5, you use reverse psychology.
Okay.
And so even when you ask those questions like, how interested are you like to work with me, and you ask them how they like their work, and they really show like disinterest, it doesn't work 100% of the time. But
Right.
for people who actually are interested, but maybe they're not trying to show their interest, using that reverse psychology, like, oh, it seems like we won't be a good fit to work together.
Right.
Sometimes that'll get them to fight and try to prove that they are a good fit to work with you. So one cool little trick there that you
Yeah,
and the
no,
students can
definitely.
use as well.
That's a good pointer to bring forward because, again, this is all a learning experience. So,
Exactly.
for sure.
So we talked about sales a little bit. I want to jump into the funnel and when you first built your campaign. So first off, like, how was it building your first campaign when you first tried doing this? When you started jumping into it?
It was difficult, very difficult. You and I had spoken a couple times, maybe even more than a couple times, on what content should I be catering towards. There is so much that you could talk about as a wedding photographer, all your experiences, all the different things, but what will bite? What will get the clients to really, come in? The first campaign was difficult. I had, my emails were not in order. They were not in any sort of sequential thing. There really was no like start to finish, like, hey, this is who I am. This is what, here's things on a first look. Here's things on your wedding planning day. Like it was no order.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Let's stop this campaign. Let's revamp it, completely recreate the order, reword the emails, and it's working.
Awesome.
I'm still tweaking it little by little. I did an engagement shoot with a bride, and she had told me, hey, oh, look, I'm a Tom Russo photography bride, and I'm in the group, and I follow your emails, and I, follow your Instagram. And that's rewarding. And you know what? It's one more person that I have on my email list. You're going to get the people that unsubscribe. It's because they don't care. People love free things. If you offer a free engagement session, you're going to get a ton of people to enter. When you pick your winners, know that people are going to unsubscribe from your email list. And that's okay. People don't want to be bothered with it. But you know what? Some people love it. They're like, oh, this guy is great.
Exactly.
So it's all about trial and error. And I noticed that when I changed like my image on my Facebook ad, it completely changed everything that people entered. So I went back to it. If something's working, don't fix it.
Exactly.
Or don't try to make it better because it's working already. If you want to improve it in another aspect. Bring people more towards your email series. The email series is the game changer. If you have a good email series, your business is going to skyrocket. I have people that are just booking me through the work and through the value posts and through the engagement sessions, but the email list is there. You know what? I'm almost at the point where the first set of brides are at that 90-day mark. And I think it's like next week or the week after. And I'll reach out to them and say, hey, hope you enjoyed the email series. I'd love to sit down and chat with you about your wedding.
Awesome.
If they're ready, great. They'll book it. If not, no hard feelings.
Move on from them.
But it was definitely difficult.
And it seems like with the difficult part, was it the building of the Facebook ads, or was it building that nurturing phase in the email part of the funnel? Which part was the most difficult for you?
The nurturing, for sure.
The
first Facebook ad is kind of, once you learn how to do it, it's like, very easy.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like walk in the park. But the email series is the most difficult. Take your time and put the time into it. Put the effort into it. Building a wedding business is not an easy thing. People just think, oh, if I post pretty pictures, I'm going to get hired.
Exactly.
No, you're not. You're not going to get hired. Maybe you'll get one person and be like, oh my goodness, your work is great. But they're not going to be that high ticket client. They're not going to be the person where they're going to book you for, a $5,000 package, a $6,000 package. They're going to look to book you for $1,000. And if you are successful and you think, and you know your worth and you know what your work does, you're not going to book that person. You're not going to just do it just because. You have to put the time and effort into doing the work. Hard work pays off. People that are successful, they have put their hard work. Entrepreneurship is not an easy thing. It's trial, error. It's a lot of investment. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of, doing the right thing. If you are trying to do this on top of a full-time job, it's not going to work because this is a full-time job. I had a full-time job back in October, and I sat in the kitchen of the business and I said, this is not what I want to do. I don't want to be a product photographer. I want to be a wedding photographer. Something hit me. I was booked for 3 months, and I said, you know what? I have 3 months to start this process. And if in 6 months it doesn't work, okay, then I found you. And in month 4 hit, I was like, this is meant to be. Month 5, month 6, month 7. Now I'm on month 8 or almost on 9. And in 3.5 months, my business has gone from here to here. I've gained
That's freaking
almost 200
awesome.
followers on my Instagram. I have 75 brides in my Facebook group.
That's
It's all right here. It's
that's
really
freaking
right in
awesome.
front of you.
And
It's right in front of you.
you said like a really important thing because a lot of people they think that, and this is what, and I try hammering this in really hard because I really want people to understand. It's like that Facebook ad when you just generate leads is just the start. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you need to really build your brand. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I was using this example of in another video because I like fancy glasses, like fancy whiskey glasses and stuff.
Love those.
Yeah, and so like I remember, I saw this ad basically, this Instagram ad of a whiskey glass, and I was like, whoa, that is like super cool. But it literally took me about 15 times seeing the ad, checking out their website before I bought. And I was telling
Mm-hmm.
one of my students, that's exactly the experience we're creating for these brides. We enter them in our funnel, and then we're throwing this content at them that's valuable. And it's like me seeing those 15 touches of the Instagram ad, not Instagram ads, the whiskey ads, but we're doing this in our email funnel and everything as well. So tell us a little bit about your nurturing strategy. What types of content would you create? What types of content did brides respond to best?
I noticed that if I spoke about like the way a photo is composed, they really appreciate that. A lot of times I've gotten clients in the past and I've done their weddings, and I actually had one client who sent me a laundry list of Pinterest photos and was like, "Hey, can you recreate this?" And a lot of times the answer is yes, I can, but I won't know if I'll be able to because it's a candid shot. When you talk about your photography and how it's created, some people love that. I've also spoken about, I've given tips on posing. Posing tips are great. 95% of brides and grooms don't really know how to pose. I've
Yeah.
gone to shoots and they're like, "What do I do with my hands? What do I do with my legs?" That's all something you learn by doing. I always say your bride's left hand lays on the chest, the right hand's behind the neck. It gives a centered ground for the hands. And I've spoken about that in my value posts and in my email series. And I had that one bride who was a Tom Russo photography bride say to me, "I know where to place my hands," because she followed the content.
Yeah.
If you answer their questions and calm their fears through your email series of the generalistic population of brides and grooms, that what you think they fear the most, and by doing it based on experience, the value is going to bite. It's going to
Exactly.
bite. It's going to be there. A lot of brides, that I meet with are like, "Okay, what is my timeline? What time do I start? What time do I have hair and makeup come? What time do I have my limo service show up?" Do a mini series in your long email series is what I have about that stuff. What time should the hair and makeup get there? What time do you arrive as a photographer? What time does the limo show up? What time is the ceremony, photo shoot, reception, the whole 9 yards? If you kind of give them that skeleton of, what they can do, what they should do, it makes their life easier. In retrospect, the photographer kind of gears your timeline of the day. You say, "Okay, my suggestion is, if you're doing a first look, start your day 4 to 4.5 hours before the ceremony starts. It gives enough time to do X, Y, and Z. If you're not, do 2 to 2.5 hours, enough time to do X, Y, and Z, and then A, B, and C after the ceremony." Answer their questions and calm their fears. If you do that, you will be successful. After your first client that you meet with for a wedding and they say, "Hey, this is my concern," and you don't have that in your email series, go back and fix it. Go back and add it, or go back and take it out. Update your email series. Your email series will only work to a certain point unless you update it. If you're doing your first one and you haven't done an update yet and you've met with 5 clients, take notes within the clients, either mental notes or physical notes, and then go ahead and update the email series, because then okay, I've met with 5 brides. All 5 brides had the same concern about planning your day.
There you go. There you go.
In your email series, create that little blurb of those mini series of, this is how you should plan your wedding. Day 1, day 2, day 3 is what parts 1, 2, 3 of different sections of your wedding. And it helps them. And now you're calming the fears of all the future brides you're going to work with, because now they have that content in your email series, or they have that content in your Facebook page, or they have that content in your Instagram, and they're seeing that and like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. This guy may be good enough to book, and let's talk to him. Let's see what he can offer us. It's just, again, photography is all trial and error. Business is all trial and error,
It
especially
is.
if you're an entrepreneur.
And that's a really great point you're hitting, because like, I always talk about extracting those fractal patterns and that information from past clients that you have. And if you're unsure about what kind of nurturing your content that you're having, every time you're doing a wedding and a bride asks questions, or you meet with brides and they ask questions, they're giving you content right
Yes.
there, right there,
Yes.
And if you don't even have that, like sometimes I'll literally just jump on the knot.com and find
Yep.
inspiration there, figure out how to make it my own. Because the Knot's been
Yep.
doing this for years. Like they know those
Yeah.
desires that brides are having. And a good point that you're talking about when it come about the posing and the tips with posing. Basically, that's where the majority of my content would be. Like 95% of it was on posing, and I would literally have brides come to engagement session with screenshots from my emails,
Mm-hmm.
using it as
Mm-hmm.
a little booklet for notes, and they really loved it. And
Right.
so, yeah, I think that's amazing advice and everything right there. So, after when you were doing the model call, and
Mm-hmm.
you chose like the winners that you wanted to do, what was a particular strategy you used to book those weddings?
Um, I let my work book it for me.
Awesome.
I when so I had every wedding photographer has libraries worth of photos. If you're doing this for a year and you've had the wedding success by doing it on your own, that's incredible.
Hmm.
I had the library, but I didn't have enough content. So I noticed that it wasn't working. So when I did the model call, the first one I ever did was a barn shoot down in South Jersey, and it was the bride who was the Tom Russo photography bride. I went to the shoot. I did my thing. I had enough knowledge to get the work flowing and get the poses. And I also did my research going into the shoot, prepping for the shoot, saying, okay, here's my list of poses. Let's do it. Produce the work. Your editing and your posing has a lot to do with the booking the client. So I did my job. I did my edits. I sent her the photos, and she fell in love with them, and I booked her for the wedding. So, the model call is great, and it helps gain the leads and gain the nurturing. But the next step to booking that client that you choose as your winner, you're giving them something free. Now produce, I always say, under promise, over deliver.
Yes.
If you over deliver your content, you over deliver your work, and you show them that I was able to produce this work for free. Imagine what I can do when you book me for your wedding. The engagement shoots and weddings are a total different ballgame. The ideas, the posing, the couple, it's all there. But an engagement shoot is a little more relaxed, a little more laid back. You have some fun. The wedding is very stressful. The bride and groom is not really focused on the photography. They're focused on a million other things. So if you show them what you can do on the engagement shoot, even though it's for free, they're going to say, you know what, this guy's going to book us for the wedding. And I always say at the end of every engagement shoot, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go home. I'm going to edit your photos. I'm going to send you the content. And then we will talk about your wedding. If you say, then we'll talk about your wedding,
that's awesome.
9 times out of 10, they're going to be like, yes, I can't wait to talk to you about our wedding.
Yes.
Because they've enjoyed their experience. They've enjoyed working with you. That's why the free shoots are great, because yeah, you know what, you take a little bit of a hit, and I've explained that to all my friends and family that this is what I do. And sometimes you got to do the free things to get the paid things. And I've learned that throughout the entire time I'm doing this. I did a sunrise shoot probably about 2 weeks ago. We booked that client for a wedding. She was a person that entered into the contest, and then she reached out to me. She entered the contest. She saw my work. She reached out to me. I want to do this. I've always wanted to do a sunrise shoot. They were all down for it. I did it. I booked the wedding based on the work.
That's awesome.
Over deliver the work, the clients are going to book you. Just don't sell your work. Let your work sell itself.
That's really great advice. And I love the advice that you gave about how after the engagement session, you're setting the stage for what happens next. Same thing with
Yes.
the intro for the sales. You're letting them know what's going to happen next after this. You say, all right, then we're going to talk about your wedding. Same thing with
Mm-hmm.
like the sales script. It's like, first I'm going to ask you these questions, and
Right.
then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this. And you're taking control.
Yes.
You're taking control, and you're letting them know what happens next, and you're letting them know the agenda. And I really want, for those of you listening, that listen to that advice right there. Like, that is some amazing advice that's going to be really great to really go from those engagement sessions to
The
those
wedding.
weddings. And I loved how you talked about over delivering. And one
Mm-hmm.
thing that's really important is, the law of, I believe the word is reciprocity. And
Yes.
so one thing that I would do is, after I have these engagement sessions, have you ever heard of that car salesman who booked tons of cars just because he sent all his prospects a card that says "I like you" and like thank them and stuff?
Really.
Yeah, and it was just a simple law of reciprocity. And
Mm-hmm.
so basically, one thing that I would do is during the over deliver during the engagement sessions, I would have a little thank you card, a little bottle of champagne right after the session and stuff.
Right.
And it was always something that where they wanted to like, oh, this guy's over delivering already for like this session. This is someone that we really want to work with. You know what I mean?
Right. And that Texas bride, I had sent her the photos. We had done it, for those who are listening, anyone who lives in the New Jersey, New York area. I shot the session up at Bear Mountain, New York. It's a beautiful place. The view is incredible. And we went up to the top of the mountain, and I did a bunch of photos up there. We had maybe like 100 feet worth of space to use, and I was able to move them around. And I sent them the edits. And her exact words were, "Oh my God, I'm literally crying. You'll hear from me in 2 days about the wedding." I didn't have to do a thing. All I had to do was take their photos, and I edited them and sent them her way. Once I sent them, my work sold me the wedding. I just got, then I got her into the meeting, and she was already on board. It was just a matter of talking about the day, talking about the venue, and all of the logistical stuff you go through when you're signing a contract with a
Yeah.
client. That's what we talked about. I didn't have to, there are going to be those cases where you do the sales script during the engagement session, and then you don't have to do it again because your work booked the wedding for you.
Exactly.
And her exact words were, "Oh my God, I'm literally crying. You'll hear from me in 2 days." And in 2 days, literally in the 2 days, the text message was, "Okay, I spoke to the groom's name is Michael. I spoke to Michael. I guess you'll be flying to Texas."
Let's
That was the
go.
exact words. And I freaked out because I really wanted to fly somewhere for a wedding, and that I was going to fly to Texas because, that's awesome. And then I, you know, booked the wedding within 48 hours. Wedding was booked, contract was signed, in the calendar, team is picked. We're flying out to Texas
That
next
is
October.
freaking awesome. So, next question I wanted to ask you, what are your goals for the next 12 months and how are you going to get to those goals?
My goals, so backtrack a little bit. My goal for the start of this year, 2019, was to book 10 weddings for 2020. I'm at 9, and it's July.
Whew.
So I have one more to go. My goal from now until next summer is to just be successful. Continue to do what I'm doing and see the results and book as many clients as I want. My dream is to travel the country, photograph weddings, and have 50 weddings a year. That's my goal. Eventually, hopefully in 10 years from now, that's what I'll be at. But my goal for the next 12 months is to advertise for destinations and book those destination weddings, and just book more weddings frequently, using the strategies, using the script, vamping a little bit, asking questions, and just keep doing what I'm doing to keep booking those clients. I'm already doing it, so my goal is to just book more,
Get
get
to
to
the
that
next
30
level.
mark. Yeah, get to the next level, get to that 30 mark. But for 2020, 2021, get to 30 weddings from 2020 to 2021, and then go on. And then also drop all of the paid things that I'm not in the wedding wire. Get rid of that. Start working less for other companies and working more for myself, picking up a gig two or here or there just because I have an open weekend. But idealistically, work for myself. All the weddings that I've booked are under my name or under my team. And that's my goal for the next 12 months, is to just book more and fly across the country.
That's
So
awesome. And what is one piece of what is one piece of advice that you would give to the students in the program?
Um, if you put the work into this process and you trust in what Jordan is telling you, it will pay off. You know, a lot of times, people are so skeptical to entrust in someone that they don't know. And, there are so many people out in this world who will try to sell you something, and it ends up not working. And I entrusted in you, and the results showed. I was able to talk to you over Skype. You're a person. You're not a just like some company that's like trying to make money. You're helping people, and the results are there. I trusted in you, and look, we became good colleagues and friends, and
Mhm.
the success is working. Just trust the process. you know be patient. Patience is key to everything. I'm an impulsive person. I want things to happen right away.
Hmm.
And I sat back and I said, I have to be patient. Eventually, this will pay off. And it has. I'm in this 90 days, maybe a little bit more, maybe close to 120. And I succeeded so much because I trusted you and I trusted the process. That's what you have to do. If
Hmm.
you are in the beginning stages of this, module, and you're in the very first section and you're talking about creating your client and your idealistic client, you write that little letter. Okay, that's step one. Now and then you just keep going through it. Keep doing it. Keep building on it. Don't skip ahead. Don't skip any modules, because if you skip one, there's important information, and it builds on each other to getting to that Facebook ad, to getting to that nurturing process, to getting to that, the everything that, the email series. And I've had to go back and rewatch some things because I'm just like, okay, there's so much information. What do I need to remember that's most important? Take your notes,
Hmm.
take notes on everything. I have a notebook that's just full of information that I learned from, your modules and, the masterclass. And if you are a wedding photographer and you are, people that are like living in another region and they don't know about this, send them Jordan's a master class. The what do you have? The
The
online
the webinar.
seminar. The seminar.
Yeah.
Yes. Send them the link to the seminar. Let them see for themselves the success that it can bring you, and then have them take the course. It works, people. It really does. It really, really works. You just have to trust in what is being told to you, and trust that you will succeed.
Mm.
Plain and simple.
Hard work pays off. Awesome advice.
It does.
And where can others find you?
I am on Instagram at Time Russo Photography. I'm on Facebook also under Time Russo Photography. And my website is www.timerussophotography.com. We're based in New Jersey. I cover pretty much the whole region of New Jersey, from the northwest to the southeast of New Jersey. And hit me up on Instagram. I'd love to see other people's work and, support each other. And I love constructive criticism. If you have anything that you see I can improve on, shoot it my way. I'm always looking to improve.
Awesome. Yeah, Tom, thank you so much for that advice. This is going to be so helpful for the students and everything. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jordan.
No problem.